What's up, guys? Taj here. I wanted to tell you about my little contraption I built. It's an electric over hydraulic, fully automatic engine hoist. So let me explain how I got here, because I wasn't trying to build this thing. The way this started, I saw a YouTube video, and a guy built a starter motor powering a power steering pump. And I said, hey, I want to do the same thing. But he used a lathe and a coupler and had them directly in line with the coupler. So I said, I want to fabricate, but I don't have a lathe. Can I accomplish? I said, yeah, I think I can do a chain drive and make this work that way. So that's the first thing I set out to do. So I made this plate, and I used angle grinder and carbide bits and cut and mounted the starter motor first. And I knew that it could be used for different things later. Maybe it was going to power a drift trike or something, you know. But it's mounted, and then I made the bracket and mounted the power steering pump so it has adjustment, and then I could get it in line and adjust it so the chain was tight. So after I had those two together and spinning with no load, with no fluid, it spun really awesome. It spun fast, sounded good. A lot of precision into that. I used this piece of stainless steel all straight and plug welded, got it all tight on the front of this, and it became a project that I wanted to finish nice with paint and straightness. So that's how that evolved. They seem to have some good deals with mechanical, hydraulic stuff. All kinds of fittings, rams, anything you're looking for, so it seems to be a good resource. And this dual acting control valve was about 45 bucks. 11 gallons per minute, high flow. And I made a reservoir with these two tanks, propane tanks and fittings, with the fill tube sight glass. So that was cool. Return from the control valve, reservoir, return to the pump. The coolest thing was this switch. This was the first thing I had. I saw it on. So it's a mechanical, adjustable, momentary switch made for the military by Eagle Signal. So you can adjust with this mechanical knob and turn it in, and so it will stay on for a longer period of time. Very cool. So hydraulic hoses and fittings, the most expensive, crazy. So I got it all mounted up so that I could test it for the first time. And I can show you, it works right now. It lifts the arm up and down just barely. You could probably imagine why. So check it out. Turn on the power. Let's see if it has enough to go. The first time I did this, I had a 10-tooth, 10-tooth, 1-to-1 ratio. Super stress pumping fluid. Too much. This little chain, it was sparking. Now it's got a 12-tooth right here, so slightly better. But literally, the chain starts smoking right away because it heats up too hot. And the starter motor can start smoking because of overload and underspeed. So that's where we're at. Does it work? Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. That's nice and shiny.
But the best part of the whole project is the paint job. Yeah. So when I tested yesterday, I had the 10-tooth sprocket on the driven first. And I had a 12, I immediately swapped that with a 12. And I ordered a 17. So I just got the 17 in the mail. From 8.17 to 8.69. to 8.95. Then to the 9.44. 9.35. So here's what I learned about sprockets. And if you don't have a lathe to drill perfect centers, obviously you got to increase the bore of these little sprockets that were 8mm, and so you use drills stepped up a little bit bigger. And even when you have them clamped in a drill press, you go a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, you can't keep them perfectly centered. So these sprockets being slightly off center, these sprockets are different count of teeth, and so they're not going to stay in perfect alignment. And so it'll get to where it's a little bit loose like this. Sometimes it's slightly looser, sometimes it's completely tight. So I think both are just slightly off center. Not a huge deal, but something to learn. Final size. Alright, I gotta run, but look, adjusting the gearing was all it needed. It works great now, off 12 volts. No problem. Stop. Stop. Yeah. Works though. So I put on this positive wire that was from like a stereo system, and pretty quickly it melted this fuse. It says it's a 60 amp fuse, but I need more fuse. It was also sparking right in between where that power steering pump touches the starter motor. I was sparking, so need a couple fixes. Next time I'll come back and I will attempt to lift an engine with power. What's up, guys? I just wanted to tell you about my little hydraulic project, and after the other video I made a list, so I got 12 steps to my project. Basically from start to finish. Number one, I saw the video about 2 months ago that inspired me, and I'll link it in the description. So number two, I searched videos about starter motors, the typical style, like the Mitsubishi style, that have the bearing support on the very end, so that I could understand about how they come together. Number three, this isn't working. Number three, ordered sprockets, disassembled and rebuilt the starter. That required just a little bit of cutting and tack welding, and now it was driving a sprocket that did not throw out. Number four, I built the plate for the starter mount. Number 5, inspired by the fine work to do a finer finish on that mount. Number 6, I built the cheese wedge plate for the power steering pump mount. Number 7, finished the sprocket install and pump alignment. It spins good, it sounded good without any load. Number 8, ordered the dual acting ram and cylinder and the dual acting control valve. Number 9, started having the custom pressure hoses made. In total it was 3 trips to hose and rubber supply. Number 10, modified the hoist to accept the 1-inch pins at the ends of the clevis, both sides of the new ram. Number 11, mounted the components to the hoist body. Number 12, made the reservoir system and finished the paint. And with that, I'm done, satisfied my curiosity, and I'll spend about $160 on a manufactured hydraulic power unit that will make this simple and reliable.